Alright, settle in. This is the kind of story you hear late in the evening, when the house is quiet and memories come back easy. They say Valentine's Day has a way of finding the cracks in your life. For Lena Carter, it found her right in the middle of a stainless steel kitchen, under buzzing fluorescent lights, with the smell of garlic butter and burnt toast hanging in the air. Lena was in her early 30s, the kind of woman who still looked young but carried herself like someone who'd learned a few things the hard way. Her brown hair was pulled into a loose ponytail, wisps falling out no matter how many times she fixed it. Her white server's shirt was neatly pressed at the start of every shift and wrinkled by the end, like the day itself had leaned on her too long. She pressed a hand to her chest, took a breath, and reminded herself, just get through tonight. Valentine's Day meant double shifts, awkward couples, forced smiles, and tips that didn't always match the effort. It also meant the reminder she tried. Hard to ignore, she had a date. She didn't want to go on, not because the man was bad, but because hope had gotten expensive. Across the kitchen, Mark Reynolds stood near the prep counter, sleeves pushed up, talking quietly with the manager. Mark was in his early 40s, solid build, dark hair touched with just enough gray to suggest he'd earned it. He wasn't flashy. He had that calm presence men get after. Life has knocked them around and they've learned how to stand back up without making a big speech about it. Mark was a regular. Came in once or twice a week with his 8-year-old son, usually after baseball practice. Tonight, though, he was alone. Single dad life had taught him how to read rooms. And right away he noticed Lena. Not in a dramatic movie screen way, just a quiet awareness. The way she moved a little slower than usual. The way she nodded and smiled without her eyes fully joining in. She was trying to disappear in plain sight. Lena had promised herself she wouldn't check her phone, but when it buzzed in her apron pocket, she knew exactly who it was. Running late, don't get mad, the text read. She wasn't mad. That was the problem. The man, Evan, was nice enough, worked sales, talked big about next steps and potential. He liked her because she was kind and listened. She agreed to dinner because it felt easier than saying no. Because after years of scraping by, after a breakup that left her sharing a one-bedroom apartment with silence, she'd learned not to expect fireworks. Still, something in her chest tightened. She typed back, "No worries. I'm exhausted anyway." And for the first time all day, she meant it. Mark watched her tuck the phone away and sigh. Not a dramatic sigh, the kind you make when no one's supposed to notice. He waited until she came to refill his water. "Busy night," he said, friendly, low-key. Lena nodded. "Yeah, Valentine's Day is always a zoo." Mark smiled. "My son calls it the pink holiday. Says it's suspicious." That got a real laugh out of her. Soft but genuine. "Smart kid," she said. "He's smarter than me most days." Something in the way Mark said it, easy, honest, made Lena linger an extra second. Life experience recognizes life experience. Her shift ended later than expected. By the time she clocked out, the kitchen had quieted, the noise settling into a hum. She changed in the back, pulling on her coat, bracing herself to check her phone. 3 missed calls. She didn't call back. Out in the dining room, Mark was paying his bill. When he saw her heading toward the door, he hesitated, then made a choice. The kind grown people make when they know chances don't come with neon signs. "Hey," he said gently. "You heading out?" "Yeah," she replied. "Long day." He nodded. "Listen, this might sound odd, but if you're not in a rush, there's a diner down the street that still makes real pie, the kind with too much sugar and zero shame." Lena blinked. "I'm not asking you out," he added quickly, hands up, half smiling. "Just offering company. Sometimes Valentine's Day is better survived with coffee." She studied him. No rush, no pressure, just an offer. Her phone buzzed again. She didn't look. "Okay," she said. "Coffee sounds nice." The diner smelled like old vinyl booths and memories, the kind of place that hadn't changed since the 90s and didn't see a reason to start now. They sat across from each other, steam rising from mugs. Mark stirred his coffee slowly. "So," he said, "what were you trying to avoid tonight?" Lena smiled, tired but honest. A date that felt like homework. Mark chuckled. I know that assignment. He told her about his ex-wife, how they'd grown apart quietly, no big blow-up, just years of not saying the right things until there weren't any words left. How raising his son had taught him patience he didn't know he had. Lena listened, then she talked about juggling bills, about losing her mom too young, about how being strong all the time gets heavy. No fixing, no advice, just listening. Outside, snow had started falling, soft, slow, like the world had decided to hush. When they stood to leave, Mark hesitated again. I don't want to overstep, he said, but if you ever want to talk or avoid another homework date, I'm around. Lena met his eyes. This time hope didn't feel expensive. It felt gentle. Yeah, she said. I'd like that. They walked to their cars, breath visible in the cold. Before parting ways, Mark pulled a small folded napkin from his pocket, his number written neatly on it. Old school, he said. My son says it's vintage. She laughed. He's right. As Lena drove home, she realized something simple and surprising. She wasn't replaying the night with regret. She was smiling. Some people think love arrives with fireworks. Others, with age, learn it often shows up as kindness, as noticing, as someone seeing you on a tired night and saying, you don't have to be alone right now. And sometimes that's how everything changes. If this story warmed your heart even a little, I hope you'll like, share, and subscribe. And if you've lived a moment like this or wish you had, go ahead and leave a comment. Stories are better when we tell them together.